Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode. Today we're going to talk about system design in Diablo 4 Part 2. So I actually didn't make a movie on the Part 1 because that one was pretty obvious. It was just all the things we already knew, all the things we've seen in the trailers and so on. But now we're actually getting a deep dive in the system in Part 2. And it's quite interesting because I'm pretty hyped for Diablo 4. It's probably going to be my main game when it actually releases in 1 to 2 years. So don't worry, I will be in Shadowlands probably for a year before the games actually release Diablo. So I'm very keen to know what it's all about this game. What are we going to see? So let's deep down. So if you're interested to learn more about Diablo 4, follow this video and it probably will take 10-20 minutes to go through all this. If you don't really care about system details in Diablo 4 and you just want to wait and see gameplay, you can leave now. But if you want to read some more system details with me, you can stick around and enjoy my voice. So let's go. In part 1 we addressed many of the open questions from the community about the Diablo 4 game designs as revealed at BlizzCon. I remember, wow, that really went awesome. We addressed many of the open questions from the community about the Diablo 4 game designs revealed at BlizzCon. I recommend checking that out if you haven't already. Well, I have. Itemization is a huge core part of any action RPG. We are focusing especially on itemizations in this blog because it's a complex and nuanced topic. Let's start with 2 key principles that guide us as the Diablo 4 development team. First, we agree that adding depth and customization to your character through itemization is incredibly valuable and important to the game. Indeed. This has been the most discussed topic since we revealed Diablo 4. To be clear, we believe Diablo 4 itemization should be deep and rewarding, and that's one of the highest priorities. Another important philosophy across the whole game for our team is the concept easy to learn, difficult to master. This core philosophy helped many of us become the hardcore gamers we are today, and one we want to embrace throughout the Diablo 4 development process. I like that one, so the game should definitely be easy to play, but also really hard to master. I like it. There we go. Second, we agree with the feedback that Diablo 4 shouldn't just mimic the itemization in our previous Diablo games. Our plan is to take the best part of previous games and improve upon them while introducing new elements to make Diablo 4 unique. We don't want to create an exact copy of Diablo 2 or Diablo 3. It's worth calling out that on this subject there was a lot mixed feedback on differing opinions, and we acknowledge that means that no single approach that everyone in the community will agree on. Not all will be happy, but try to focus on most. That said, thanks for your feedback. We have some potential changes we're actively discussing internally and regarding optimization that we'd like to share with you today. Again, we feel important to stress that this is very early design and we're sharing this with the community far sooner than we have ever before. There will be problems with these ideas we will have to iterate through, and that's what presented below is almost certainly not final. The reason we're sharing this so early is because we want to involve the community in our process and learn as much as we can from your feedback as soon as possible. Let's get to it. That's kind of cool that they want our opinion on how the game should actually work. Affixes in Diablo 4. We went through so much great community discussion, including a fair amount of conflicting feedback, and we had dozens of hours of discussion on this topic. We were left with 2 major takeaways. First, item affixes should be meaningful part of character power. Second, they should create interesting choices when deciding which items to queue. Our previous focus was on making each affix geared towards specific builds, so that the perfect item would vary depending on the build you were pursuing. We still like this overall direction, but we understand it can also feel like your choices are limited because you end up chasing a list of best in item slots. Yes, I mean, that's what really sucks about Diablo 3, that you have to go with this set, and if you don't use these items, you just suck. I mean, that's not a game. That's like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Here are the changes we are considering. We are increasing the total number of affixes on items, including magic blue, rare yellow, and legendary orange. This should raise the overall importance of non-legendary affixes on your character's overall level power. We're also introducing 3 new stats: Angelic Power, which increase the duration of beneficial effects like self-buff or healing; Demonic Power, which increase the duration of all negative effects like debuff and damage over time; Ancestral Power, which increase the chance on hit effects, aka increase proc chance. Increases the chance of on hit effect. Hit effect. I mean, I don't hope they bring back from Diablo 2 where you can actually miss, and you need this for hitting your enemies. Okay, these new stats can appear as affixes such as 15 Angelic Power. In addition to providing them a bonus stat benefit, we want these new stats also to be act as prerequisites for empowering certain other affixes. If you don't have enough of specific power, you can still acquire the item, but you may not benefit from an affix linked to that power. Here are a couple of work in progress examples to better illustrate what these affixes do. Again, none of this is final and could change considerably. So here we can see that we have some feats and a necklace, and it has a defense, angelic power, movement speed, 1 rank to devastation requires 50 demonic power, and cold resistant that requires 40 angelic power. Oh, is my microphone? No. So that means you have these 2 bonuses, but depending on if you went to demonic power or angelic power, you would get this or not. And the same is here. 2 ranks to char to ash require demonic power, 25 fire resistance requires demonic power. And crushing blow chance require ancestral power. Okay. This is probably the part where I think it's hard to master. Interesting. Each of the 3 powers will have a list of affixes that are tuned to it, so depending on which stat you care about, you might want to focus on angelic, demonic, or ancestral power. In the examples above, you would need 50 demonic power to get an additional rank in devastation skill, to 55 demonic power for 25 fire resistance, or 60 demonic power for additional 2 rank in the char to ash skill. If you wanted to build an around crushing blow, you need to stack ancestral power instead, while angelic power would require to gain 25 cold resistance. We think these changes will address the 2 main takeaways pretty well. Legendary power should no longer completely dwarf the strength of affixes, and the affixes themselves provide more interesting choices because their strength depends on how much of the relevant you accumulated on the rest of your gear. You might find an amulet with the perfect stats for your build, but with some of its affixes may you require demonic power when you previously focused on ancestral. Maybe your current amulet is primarily the source of your ancestral power, so equipping a new amulet would mean potentially making sacrifices elsewhere. Okay. With this system, it will be easy to identify with items with good stats, but it will take some tough and planning to decide whether the item is good for your build. The best item for your character will really depend on what you currently have and how you build that character, making it more difficult to just look up the right answers online. At the same time, we think this system keeps item approachable. Even if you make optimal itemization decisions, you may be weaker, but doing so won't completely break your character. We can also introduce this mechanic gradually and naturally as you level, rather than making it a requirement to understand at the beginning. Okay, I see what they're doing. They're doing so all the specs is going to be dynamic and really unique, and not something that you just can Google best spec. I like that, but I'm also getting afraid that this will be too complicated. Whoosh. Attack defense changes. Please give us some good news now. Based on your feedback, we changed attack to only be found on weapons, defense to only be on armor. We remove both attack and defense from jewelry entirely. The goal here is to better embrace the fantasy of each of items. We like the attack and defense stats as a way of convey power progression on items. A core part of an ARPG is the quest for more power, just as we have skill ranks, talents, trees, character level, and so forth. Attack and defense allow us to reflect your power growth in item as well. To be clear, attack defense is not the end of the story of an item's power, but it does fulfill the easy to learn, difficult to master design philosophy by giving players a broad sense of whether the item is an upgrade. Players who are optimizing their characters will still need to take additional affixes on item into account, as the benefit to your build can overweight the raw attack or defense of an item. Solely picking your item based on defense, attack and defense will almost never be an optimal way to play, but it does provide a good starting point for a newer player. So you can focus on just having the highest attack and defense on all your items, but the 100% part of master to play will be having the correct affixes that will reward you. It's important to reiterate that items are just one part of character's overall power. Our goal is to spread out power across different sources, including skill ranks, your character level, talent trees, items, and in-game character progression system, which, like everything else, is still in development. I like that. I like that you have this attack defense on your weapon and armor, that's pretty much it. And then you have your affixes that can depend. Like it. I do really like that. Replacement. In our last post we mentioned that we're looking for some potentially changes to ancient items based on your feedback. We're going to remove ancient legendaries from the game in the current form entirely. Our next proposal hits a couple different feedback points, addressing usefulness of rare, yellow items as well increasing the depth of complexity of players' gear choices in the endgame. We will be introducing a new way of countable items which we haven't yet named. This item will be earned by killing monsters just like other items. It will have one random legendary affix on it, drops only in late endgame, and can be used to apply that affix to any non-legendary items. This means a few things. We create an elective mode for items. That is experienced after players have had time to experience rare legendary items normally, as well as familiarize themselves with rarity of affixes. This adds a way to introduce new methods of play without adding even more power to in-game items. Rare items with the best affixes on them are always useful and return value. We want to remind you last time for good measure that none of this is final. We haven't ever even tried most of this in a working build yet. We love to get some more constructive feedback on these approaches, as well as general directions where we headed for itemizations. We never shared this level of details this early before, but we look forward reading what you have to say. David Kim, lead system designer. Was that the guy who said, "Do you guys have phones?" I think it is. Off topic. Okay. I like the idea of power and defense on armor, power on weapons, and you can kind of go for that. But I also like the thing where your items have affixes, so you know angel power, demon power, this ancestral power, and each of them have like bonuses on your items. I like that. Well, if anyone from the Blizzard team is watching this video, I would just say this sounds like you're going in the right direction, and I'm 100% fan of it. Just keep in mind, don't make the game like Diablo 3 where you had to Google the items that are best and only get that items. That was poor playing. That was really poor playing. So please don't make it like that. and I'll be a big fan of Diablo 4. I already am, so I'll probably play the heck out of that game. So yeah. So thanks for watching, everyone. That was 15 minutes with talking about Diablo 4's new item system. So leave down a comment and let me know, what do you think about this itemization system? I think it's great. I'm kind of afraid that it will also be too complex, but it sounds good. It sounds good. So again, thanks for watching, everyone. Leave down a comment, let me know what you think, and else, peace out, have a nice evening.